Hey guys, Mr. Ground here, 6-4, proving a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. In this video, we're going to talk about different ways we can prove that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram and just go over some examples of proving one way or the other. All right, so there's 6 total ways. 2 of the ways, if we can show that both pairs of opposite sides are equal, we know it's automatically a parallelogram. So if these 2 sides and these 2 sides are like equal pairs, we know it's a parallelogram. We also know if those 2 pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So if this is parallel to here and these 2 are parallel, we know for sure it is a parallelogram. Couple other ways we can tell: if we know that we have 2 equal sides and parallel, one of the sets of the opposite sides are both parallel and equal. I don't necessarily need to show or know that these are automatically going to also be parallel and equal. Also, if we know that the opposite angles are equal to one another, then we've got parallel lines that are crossed by transversals. We know this is going to be a parallelogram. We know these 2 are parallel, and we know these 2 are going to be parallel, making it a parallelogram. Some alternate ways we can do this, 2 more. One, if we know that these correspond, or the consecutive angles, if they add up to 180 degrees, there should be a little X here. So if we know that these are supplementary, that these 2 are supplementary, right, that we know that it's going to be parallelogram. And then also if we know that the diagonals they bisect each other, right? So if we cross in the middle here and this point divides both of those lines evenly, so half here, and on the other one half here, we know for sure it's going to be a parallelogram. All right, so some examples, determining whether or not these things are parallelograms and explaining our thinking. So on our first one here, looking at this, we've got some equal sides, but they're not the opposite sides. So this one's going to be a no, and our explanation could be something like opposite sides are not equal. Meaning like this side here, AB, should be equal to CD, and 1 tick mark does not equal 2 tick marks. All right, our next one. We've got some diagonals, right? So if I look at, there's my center point. I've got 5 on either side on the green diagonal, 6 on either side on the blue diagonal. So this is going to be a yes, and the diagonals bisect each other. All right, then our next one, we've got some equal angles, but they're not the corresponding, or they're not the opposite angles, right? So like this angle should equal the one across from it, and those ones are not equal. So this is definitely not a parallelogram. So our opposite angles are not equal, is why it is not. All right, a few more. So looking at these ones, we're going to talk a little bit about, in these examples, how you can't always trust the diagram, like the shape of it. You have to just focus on the information that's there. So looking at this one, I've got some parallel sides and I've got some equal angles, but I don't have enough information here. So this one is not enough info. It could be, it's not a definite no, but we just don't have enough info. So why we don't have enough info, I would need to know that these 2 sides are equal, or I would need to know that these 2 sides are parallel, right? So in this case, my explanation, I could say 1 pair of opposite sides. So 1 pair of opposite sides isn't both parallel and equal. or something along those lines. Now, it sure looks like a parallelogram, right? However, I can make a little adjustment to this. Given this information, it actually could also be this, right? That shape where it's a trapezoid, not a parallelogram, right? And according to the info, we actually technically don't know because I don't have any info about these angles. I don't have any info about whether or not these two are parallel, even though they look like it. It technically could be like this. It's just really poorly drawn. All right, our next one. So another one. It sure looks like a parallelogram, right? But we only have one pair of opposite angles being equal. So this is another not enough info. And the reason we only have one pair of opposite angles is equal. So again, we can't really trust that this is drawn accurately. We only know for sure that this is 70 and this is 70. So let's say, for example, we'll keep this angle in the same spot. If I take this drawing and I just adjust it a little bit and we change that 70-degree angle to kind of point that way, right? Well, now this is going to create a shape that is definitely not a parallelogram, right? And even though the diagram looks like a parallelogram, given the information that's there, like this shape and the original shape really, like, mathematically are the same they have the same given information, so we don't technically know whether or not it's this purple one or the black one, or maybe something that's just really close to one or the other. All right, and then our last one. So looking at this one, I think I've got some diagonal information, but I don't have all the diagonal information. But you know what? It doesn't matter, right? Opposite sides are equal. Opposite sides are equal. This is for sure a parallelogram. We can say both pairs of opposite sides are equal.